Hey everyone, I'm NornQueenAlexis and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are doing an army list review. A lot of people have been asking me like what my army lists are when I play my battle reports, and they want me to post them and everything. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I typically post them on my community posts where these are the army lists I'm going to be bringing, and it builds a little bit more engagement. And personally, I've been doing that for quite some time. A lot of people want me to do a breakdown of why I bring certain things in my Warhammer 40k army. So I thought today would be a great day to go ahead and take a look at my army, tell you my army list, and tell you my thoughts that went behind building this army. So this is a 2,000 point, actually I think it's 1996 point army list. And this army is led by Morinval, who is a must include. She's basically Guilliman if Guilliman was good on tabletop. Second in command is Canoness Olivia Kane. There are going to be a lot of names here. They have lore. If you want to know, Canoness Olivia Kane leads a crusade, and she rides around in Inquisitor Rosalina Lockwood's flagship, the Spear Provoska. Not the Spear of Macragge, the Spear Provoska. I also found out that Spear of is a very common ship name in 40k. This army is Bloody Rose. I know it's painted as Martyred Lady, but I'm running it as Bloody Rose because Bloody Rose seems to be the better one in my opinion. And I know that there is a lot of people out there who are on the fence of which one is the best, but with all the melee options in this army, it's very easy to say that Bloody Rose is arguably the best. So, right off the bat, I do have to point out one thing. The Paragon Warsuits are barely worth their points. I'm just going to state this now, and a lot of people might disagree with me, but the Paragon Warsuits, one squad of them is good, 2 squads of them is too much. 3 squads of them is way too much and you're wasting a lot of money. But overall, I like them. I like the way they look, and that's why they are in this army list. So just going to tell you my thoughts before I break down the army list itself. This whole army is essentially Rosalina's meeting with Morinval, and to see if the two can actually get along. Morinval being a Puritan at heart, and only seeking out imperial glory through the power of humans and humanity, leading her sisters and possibly alternative motives depending on what the ecclesiarchy is trying to manipulate her to do, but she has her own will and her own stride to go forth. Currently, she just crossed into the Provoskan sector where she met Rosalina for the first time ever. That's the idea of this army list, is the two have to work together, and Morinval disagrees with how Rosalina runs everything, and the two of them bicker back and forth about who is actually in charge. Rosalina being an Inquisitor and having unlimited power, versus a High Lord of Terra who has unlimited power. Rosalina will reluctantly do what Morinval says, but she will keep her own secrets, as she is one to do. Rosalina's base now includes her 2 servo skulls, which are 2 of her family members, by the way. Yeah, let's try to get this right here so it focuses on this. But she has been converted to have both of her servo skulls, which is Longing and Runner. And those are the last survivors of, well, Rosalina is the last survivor of the Lockwood household, And those are 2 relatives that she managed to get back. And by get back, I mean she salvaged their skulls and had her tech priest turn them into servo skulls so they can keep helping the Imperium into the future. So this army is about fast-paced, lightning attacks, hitting in as hard as you can, and just smashing your opponent. Hopefully the Battle Sisters in the back will hold objectives, and that's pretty much their only purpose in this list. Technically, I could have just done a Vanguard detachment and brought what I brought, except for the Inquisitor. But overall, I wanted to do a battalion detachment so I could bring the Inquisitor and go into it. So, like I said, the idea is that these 2 met each other, they're clashing, but both of them need each other at this current moment to face their current threat, which we will find out what it is in a battle report coming up. So to go over this list of 1996, we have added an additional relic. So there are 2 relics in this army. Olivia Kane has one, and the Dogmata, who still needs a name, by the way. If you wish to name this character, please leave a comment down below. So typically I take the names from my patrons or from what my patrons decide to name my characters. And that's actually how we got Olivia Kane, Hospitaller Brave Crossing, because that's her full name. And the Dogmata is going to be a mainstay in the army. So if you are a patron and wish to name this, comment down below. So, Bloody Rose Detachment, we are at 8 command points. We have a Hospitaller in the list because she's taking up no forced orc slot. She's just really good. Then we have Rosalina. Now, Rosalina is crazy. So, she's renowned for her sword skills and how good she is at lightning attacks, getting in, hitting hard, and then getting out as quickly as possible because she can't take a hit for the life of her. So to represent this, she is an Alpha Class Psyker, which she is not in the lore. She's a level 6 Psyker, which is really powerful, but not Alpha Class. Alpha Class is like level 8 and 9, and then level 10 is, well, you already broke the game at that point. She's Ordo Hereticus, because best Ordo. She's a Psyker. She's got the Relic of the Inquisition, the Black Shroud, which gives her -1 to hit her, which is ridiculously good. She's got the Arbiter of the Emperor's Will, so she gets a Warlord trait. She has an Inferno Pistol, which is modeled on her model itself. And she has a Nemesis Demon Hammer to represent how I would run her if she had 2 power swords. Because you used to be able to build her appropriately back in 5th edition. Because I went back and looked at the books. I couldn't tell you how many books I had. But anyway, I went back and looked at it, and I could build her to the way I wanted, but the closest representation for her, and to still make an Inquisitor good, is a Nemesis Demon Hammer for 20 points. She knows the psychic power Dominate because that's pretty much her lore, is that she extracts information from people, willingly or not. And she has the Radical Warlord trait. Now what Radical does is it allows her to gain a reroll on a hit, wound, or damage roll, or damage, just make sure it's the or. And it's ridiculously good. She can also deny 2 psychic powers. She can only cast once. She has a refractor field for a 5-up invo save. Oh, and its Radical is once per battle round you can reroll a hit roll, wound roll, damage roll, saving throw, psychic test, or deny the witch test made for this warlord. Which works really, really, really well with Sisters of Battle. Because I can attempt to deny normally, I can re-roll the deny, and then I can use the sister stratagem to just negate the psychic power. So it's really good to have these kinds of things in here. Redundancy is always good. So, also I think she has like 4 attacks or something like that. She's really good in close combat. Attacks 4, yeah. She's got 4 attacks in close combat, hitting on 4s with a Demon Hammer, which is Strength 6, AP -3, 3 damage. So, ridiculously good. I love her. I think she's amazing. I think Inquisitors should always be in Imperial lists. It just makes sense to me. Now, moving on, we have Canoness Olivia Kane. Canoness Olivia Kane has Saint in the making because she has to be the Warlord. She has an Inferno Pistol and a Blessed Blade, and she has the Warlord traits. If I can click it, doing this one-handed is a bit tough. Indomitable Belief. So she gives out a +1 aura around her for +1 invulnerable save. She also has the Relic, the Iron Surplus. So she has permanent transhuman, and she also has I think that's it for this. Uh-oh. Somebody sent me a message and I accidentally clicked on it and got out of the GW app. So that is Olivia Kane. She's really fun, really good in my opinion. And with Bloody Rose, she gets like 5 attacks. If you gave her the Bloody Rose exclusive like relic sword, she gets like 9 attacks. And she becomes just a blender. And it's kind of really fun. Then, without no need to explain what Morinval does, there's Morinval. She has missiles, a special heavy bolter that's strength 6. She also has the ability to give 1 unit reroll everything. And then on top of all of that, she herself can give herself the ability to reroll because of her Warlord trait. So, ridiculously good character right there. Absolutely love her. Think that she's grossly undercosted. She's 265. She's probably going to go up to 280 after a couple of play tests. But that's what she is right now. And then we have 3 troop choices. Now, you're going to see heavy weapons in here, and you're probably thinking, Alexis, this is dumb. You could take these heavy weapons and get another Battle Sister squad. And you are correct. That is the smarter thing to do. That is 100% the smarter thing to do, is to get more Battle Sisters on the battlefield itself, so I can spread out and grab more objectives. And I fully agree with that. But I'm dumb, and I like multi-meltas, because multi-meltas make bad people go away. So what I have here is 3 squads with 1 heavy weapon in each. Each sister superior, that is a mouthful. Each sister superior has a chainsword. None have combi weapons, they just don't. And this one has a multi-melta, this one has a multi-melta, this one has a heavy bolter just for points. And the reason that I chose these typically sit in the back, or they run up and camp an objective, and they happen to be next to the Dogmata. I can still shoot with them because of her abilities, because they can do an action and still fire their weapons. So we got multi-melta, heavy bolter. So this one's going to sit in the back, and this one's probably going to do all of the raised banners type objectives for the sisters. And these 2 are going to slowly be advancing up the field. And yes, they are going to be hitting on 4s while doing this, but still, multi-melta shot, getting a lucky hit will demolish almost anything in its path. Then we have 10 sacristans. These things are, well, they're kind of amazing. Their halberds are a little bit better than their maces, in my opinion. The maces are always the first ones to go, and just because the halberd is like strength 7, it's honestly incredible. And you can, with an Imagifier, give them +1 strength, so they can be strength 8. So wounding Marines on a 2+ is nothing to joke about. I don't have an Imagifier in this list, so that's just something to think about. She has the spear and bolt pistol, and everyone else has bolt pistols. 4 maces, 5 halberds. I have had tremendous luck with this unit. I absolutely love this unit. It's either they do amazing. In 3 out of 4 games, they have done amazing for me. Next up, we have 9 Repentia. 9 Repentia, even though they can go up to 10, it's just so the Cannoness can jump into the vehicle with them. And yeah, they're Repentia. They're not as good as they were before. They were only going to get like 3-4 attacks each. They're going to get 2 attacks base, +1 for the charge for being Bloody Rose, +1 for the Dogmata's War Hymns. So they're 4 attacks apiece, and that's still 36 attacks at strength 6. Again, nothing to joke around with. And if they charge, they have Zealot, so they reroll all to hits. So hitting on 4s with exploding 6s is kind of a yes please. And these also get a crazy number of attacks because I can cast War Hymns on them. So alternatively, depending on where this is and what unit needs to die, I can allocate the War Hymns to either unit. And it's just it's really, really, really solid. Like, I think the Sacristans are a bit better than the Repentia right now. Repentia deal more damage. No question. Repentia will deal more damage. But these girls have an inbuilt 4-up invulnerable save. These girls need to stay next to the Canoness and to get off the other him on top of them so that they have a 4-up invulnerable save. But I don't need to do that to them. And these girls are technically stronger than them. So they wound easier than these girls do. But these girls deal more damage. So it really depends on how you want to do it. And I always take the passion for a selected Sacred Rite. So I'm always exploding on 6s. So regardless, they're really good no matter which one you choose. I prefer Sacristans. I think they look a bit cooler. And I also prefer the old Repentia because they look way better than the current iterations of the Repentia that look atrocious. But that's just me. I really like the dynamic poses of these ones. I like what they look like. I think they look cool as hell. I love the idea of a corset and a freaking skirt, and that's it. That's all they have, and they just chain themselves up, wrap their heads, and go into battle. I honestly think this is incredible. I love this unit. I've always loved the Repentia lore, too, because it's voluntary, except if a Dogmata tells you to, but that's new lore. Going on, we have 2 squads of Paragon warsuits. They're both rocking swords, and in my opinion, the sword is the much better weapon. It just hits easier, because that thing has a -1 to hit, I believe. This hits a lot harder. These are definitely anti-tank, but I think the sword is strong enough at strength 7 that it's going to cleave through most things that you run into, since this is an infantry-heavy army. An infantry-heavy edition. I don't think we're going to see too many tanks, so I have a whole bunch of swords. Multi-meltas on every single one of them, because there is no reason to bring heavy flamethrowers, in my opinion. I mean, you can bring one with a heavy flamethrower and do Holy Trinity, but overall, I believe that that's a little bit of a waste. Actually, it's kind of cool, but I'd rather get the multi-melta shot, considering I'm not running Retributors, so I need all the multi-melta shots I can get. Stormbolter's up top because the other weapon is kind of useless, in my opinion. And this is the best configuration for them, in my opinion. Okay? Okay. Then we have the Dogmata, and the Dogmata has a huge amount of stuff. Okay, so getting into her, she has the Relic, the Sigil Esquator, the ability to have an extra war hymn. Okay, so she can cast 2 war hymns. She knows 3 war hymns, including, hymns of battle. She knows war hymns, she knows righteous smiting, and she knows enduring faith. I did not give her a warlord trait or do Saint in the Making to her. I could, and it's not a bad idea to do it. I just want to save as many command points as I have, because I have 8 command points right now. So her whole thing is that she's going to be sticking around these units, but I also want her out because she can actually cast enduring faith on a core unit, not a core infantry unit. So you can actually hit the Paragon warsuits and give them a 5-up invulnerable save, which makes them insane, makes them a lot more durable. So I really, 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 really like Dogmatas right now. And let's not forget the other ability that lets them, within 6 inches, still perform an action and shoot. So first turn, I can actually run up with, say, this unit within 6 inches of her. They can perform an action, not run, but move, perform an action to put up a banner, and then I could just use her standing next to them and still shoot with this unit, and I still get a multi-melta shot out of it. Hitting on force, but still worth it. And for the last part of this list, we have there's 2 other parts of this list. We have 2 Dominion squads. There's no reason not to bring these. They're absolutely incredible. And now they can move pre-game before game once again. So they just can't end within 9 inches of the deployment zone or 9 inches within an opponent's model. So they move 6 inches, turn 1. So you toss both of them into a rhino, drive it up the field, and destroy something. I have 3 rhinos in this list for this exact reason. We have 1 unit to transport, 2 units to transport, and then 3 units to transport. So idea is that if the enemy is on foot, I will walk to them with this unit, or I'll outflank this unit and put 2 of these into rhinos. If not, I will put this unit in a rhino and drive it up the board. The Hospitaller is going to try to follow them as close as possible, as well as following the other girls as close as possible. Essentially, there's going to be a castle walking up the field with the Cannoness. So this is going to be moving up the field, and then this is going to be moving up the field at a different point, trying to keep up with these girls. So Morinval will be escorting the 2 Dominion squads and the 2 Paragon Warsuit squads, while the Cannoness, who is right here now, is escorting the close combat girls. And the reason that I chose a Cannoness over a Palatine is because I want those hits, because the hits explode into more hits. So I want to make sure I have a good amount of 6-inch bubble around her and around her so that I can just get all those rerolls to hit. So Dominion squads have 4 Meltaguns, and the Sister Superior just has a chainsword and a bolter. I ran out of points. And then 3 rhinos with Stormbolters. And that is my entire list. And honestly, I think this is a pretty decent list. The one thing that I would change, if I were to make this more competitive, is to take out the heavy weapons, get an additional squad on the field, take out the Inquisitor, because as much as I love her, I don't think she's highly competitive. I'd probably drop one of the Paragon Warsuit squads. I'd add more Repentia. I would add more Sacristans. I think I would actually do 3 units of Sacristans. So instead of these 2 Paragon Warsuit squads, it'd be 3 units of Sacristans in 3 rhinos just driving up the Ford, apparently. They're driving a Ford F-10,000. That's what they're driving in. But driving up the board and just trying to get into combat as quickly as possible. There are other janky strategies you could do with 5 of them and 5 of them in the transport and just drive them up the board, and I think it's fun. Oh yeah, another little tidbit of lore. Hospitaller Aubrey Brave Crossing is an acolyte to Rosalina. Just a little bit of more lore. I think I covered everything, but objective holders, that's their purpose. Midfield control, that's their purpose. Opponent's table side control is their purpose. Inquisitor is there as utility, as well as to be able to smack something or absorb Overwatch, or deny the witch, or cast psychic powers. She has a lot of utility. I really like her. Morinval is probably going to die. Like, if you don't target her and kill her within 2 turns, you lose the game. So, this is the army list that I'm going with in my next battle report. I really hope my opponent doesn't watch that. I can't talk. I really hope my opponent doesn't watch this battle report and plan their list accordingly, because all you would need is anti-infantry against this list. There's a lot of weaknesses. Actually, yeah, anti-infantry is the biggest weakness of this list. But it's a really, really, really fun list, and it's all painted, and I'm really happy. And yes, I am redoing the bases, and I moved these girls to 28mm bases because that's tournament legal. These girls still don't have base work, and these girls don't have base work. I'm still working on this army. Please forgive me. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know in the comments down below. Tell me what you think of the army list and if it's good or if I'm garbage and terrible human being forever, strictly because I play Sisters of Battle. As always, I'm NornQueenAlexis. I love you guys. Bye.